Hey, so this is John here from Tabletop Narrative, and this is a really simple, elementary kind of video I just wanted to make. Some friends trying to maybe start to get in the hobby, and these are, by me, no means I'm not an expert modeler or painter or anything like that, but this is very simple. So what I wanted to do is just simply what I use to maybe clip stuff off of a sprue, what that is, and then maybe what I use to clean mold lines and how that works. So obviously when you buy your stuff, you're gonna get something like this, which is what we would call a sprue, and have your different models. There's usually going to be different parts to them that you might have to glue together and everything here. So here's another example. These happen to be some Nurgle kind of demons type stuff, but you can kind of see arms and stuff like that on there. So they're going to be connected usually to different spots on there, and so obviously they got to be clipped off. There is a tool that's basically just like this. It's kind of I think it's just simply like a clipping tool, right? You can find it for most like hobby places. It is kind of angled like that, and you can kind of see that it's also flat on this side and it's angled on that side. So the key when you use these, there's a couple different ways to do it. So how I kind of do it is I go the flat side towards the model like this, and then you're gonna clip that off of there, right? So I'm gonna clip all these things off. Sometimes what also you might wanna be wary of is like these little things. So like see where that's at is his horn type there. You gotta be kind of really extra careful around those, and then clip off there. And then basically we're gonna go around and clip all this stuff off. The other way to do it, which could be definitely maybe a little bit better in some cases, is instead of clipping this off, some people will clip it off further away. So you'll have a little bit of space on there and then clip it out here. So one example might be like, so on this thing, maybe you clip it from here, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but it's kind of a little bit of ways. And then what you would next would be use your hobby knife to then cut it off of there. Because potentially what can happen, I don't know if you can kind of see it here, but sometimes when you clip it on these and you clip it too close, or it's too tight there, it'll indent this. So if you have a really flat surface, it sometimes could make it so that you have a little bit of an indentation in it. Me personally, I've just been doing that. It usually doesn't happen, but that can happen, and just something to look out for. So next thing that I use is just like a simple hobby knife. I use this to basically clean my mold lines. There are mold line cleaners they could buy. That's another separate tool they could do. I haven't actually really used this. I do that, but one thing I do, which is super duper important because these things are very dangerous, is I actually dull this blade. So I purposely will cut stuff up. I like almost try to dull it up on purpose because I want it to be dull so it's not gonna cut me, but then it's gonna be sharp enough so I can use it to cut mold lines or do stuff like that. And it still has a little bit of an edge. If I had to cut into something, I still could do it. So then basically what I'm gonna do is go through, you can kind of see, these are what they would call mold lines. And so it is important to remove those because it makes things look better. The worst, well, the thing, I wouldn't say the worst, but like you could do all this, have a beautiful painted model, and then you have like simply a mold line that goes across. And unfortunately, they don't really show here, but there are some stuff, it's very evident even on, I would say like Space Marine models or something like that, where it's not just where you clipped it, but maybe on a leg that could have kind of this like line that runs down it. And just by using this thing and kind of scraping it, like this, you could scrape it down to kind of get that line off of there. So it makes it more of a smoother surface. So on this particular thing, what I'm gonna basically do is I kind of clean these off. I wanna make that a flat surface. I then also can maybe do the flat end like this, basically there, and just wanna make it really kind of smooth and flat. Then you're gonna go through and find all these little pieces. So like this is one little, once again, you gotta be kind of careful. This is where I might just scrape it slightly to kind of get that thing off of there, that little mold line. So once again, I'm not a professional or anything, but so, oh, see, so I kind of messed it up a little bit. Good thing with Nurgle and demons is like a broken horn. No big deal. They all should have them, right? And then you're going to go through the different spots where maybe you did clean it up, and maybe you're going to scrape that little part off so it makes it kind of smooth. You're going to look around and basically do that kind of stuff. So that's it to kind of start the things, and then you typically be able to glue them together. I usually clean all my mold lines before I glue all the pieces together. That way it makes it easier to kind of get in there and do that. And then next step obviously would be to glue the stuff and follow the instructions and everything there. But I did want to talk about, there's a mold line right there on his head. It's kind of just scraping that thing off of there. So now his head is nice and smooth and doesn't have like a weird little thing sticking out on there. So that's it. So thanks. And I mean, hopefully this helps a little bit, but have a good day.